Welcome back, YouTubers. Today we celebrate 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. I thank you all for the support of my channel through likes, comments, forwards, and subscriptions to my YouTube channel. Without it, I wouldn't be here today and where I am. So again, thank you all for your support to my YouTube channel. To commemorate this milestone, we're going to run 2 Chessie trains on my train table right behind me, and they're both steam engines. One of the steam engines I have not opened up in over 30 years since I was a teenager, and this is its first time it's going to run on the tracks, pulling a train right behind its coupler. And plus, this video is also going to have my first ever Mike's Train House freight and passenger rolling stock. Now, before I get into that, if you do hear any buzzing on your phone or computer, there's nothing wrong with it. It is pretty warm here in the basement. So it's 76 degrees in temperature and it's 83% relative humidity. So it's pretty muggy, uncomfortable down here. So I have a high velocity fan, a dehumidifier, and another fan running at the same time. So just trying to keep things cool down here. Okay, so in choosing my first freight train, I wanted to buy a lot of nice cars, but I didn't know what to buy. So I looked back to when I was a kid and I had Tyco HO trains. So it was a difference between having HO and Lionel. Well, you can see where I went to today. So looking online, and I found a Chessie train that's called Mammoth of the Rails. And the lead engine for that set was a Berkshire-like type 6-wheel drive Chessie steam locomotive. And all the cars that's right behind it. So I figured, hey, why not? I wanted to make an O-gauge train of an HO train. So we're going to pull out those cars and see what I've chosen to make that set possible. So let's have a look. So we're going to start off with our look-alike O-gauge train from HO, Mammoth of the Rails, starting off with the back end of the train, and that's going to be the MTH Wide Vision caboose. So for my first MTH freight car, we have the caboose. It's nicely scaled, it's got some weight to it, and yeah, I like the detail on this here in the front here and the back of the caboose. So far it does look really nice to have, and putting it onto the tracks, it does glide nice on the rails. All right, next car. The next car in the lineup was a Western Maryland skid flat with 3 culvert pipes. Well, I couldn't find one of those, so here we have a Norfolk Southern flat car with pipe load. This is a nice flat car with these little pipes on here, although I found out when I was taking it out that some of them may not be properly set in place. But nevertheless, it is a nice looking car. The next car is a 40-foot Schlitz beer billboard reefer, and I found one of those in MTH freight cars too. I like how this car has a coupler protector on it. It's pretty neat. The car looks, I like the graphics on this car. Looks very nice. Again, it's got weight to it. I don't know if these doors open up, but I don't want to take that chance. Metal springs too. Nice. The next car was the piggyback flat car with trailers. I think they might have been Santa Fe, but couldn't find that, so I got the Atlantic Coastline flat car with 2 pup trailers. Just look at this flat car. This is an impressive piece of work right here. Metal springs, the wood boards here. I mean, it's plastic, but it looks like wood boards. This is really nice here. And the trailers, everything was packed in their own bags, so we just have to make everything fit on here like so. I also found out that this little screw tab, if you rotate this, it raises up this the part that holds in the pin of the truck so that it won't move around on the flat car. So I got to raise this guy up to hold the pup truck in place. Yeah, there we go. Next, in the Mammoth of the Rails set, in HO they had the center flow hopper, a yellow and blue Morton Salt center flow hopper, but since I couldn't find one of those, got the Rail King Morton Salt hopper. As I'm taking these cars out, I'm finding that they're really easy to take out of the box because MTH has got a little finger grip on there to pull them. This may not be a premier car, but it's still a nice Morton sold car to have. And yeah, so far everything is still springs. The next car would be a Virginian 40-foot silver hopper with no coal load, but I found one, but this one does have a coal load with it. I guess Mike loved his coupler protectors, and the first time I've ever seen a plastic protector underneath the coal load. That's a first, so it does come off. Again, it's a nice looking car, springs and everything. The HO Mammoth of the Rails featured a red Burlington operating car that unloads. Well, couldn't find one, so still found a 40-foot Burlington car here on the Rail King side. Looking at this box car, this is the heaviest one I've ever held in the set right now, and it is the tallest. This is a big car. Wow. As we get closer to the end of our train and closer to the engine, next up is the boom tender. So couldn't find the one that they had, which was a Santa Fe, but I got a CP Rail tender car. I was a little disappointed with this because when they advertised this on the MTH website, this car showed that it was brighter in color, but they did say that the color may not match. If I like the way the detail is in this car, it's probably heavier than the red Burlington box car. It's nicely detailed. I do like the CP logo on it and everything. This is a nice piece of work right here with this car. Yeah, metal springs too. And I noticed with the MTH couplers that there is an air hose supplied right here on the right next to the couplers. That's a different feature altogether. And finally, the last freight car in our Mammoth of the Rails train set here. HO has the Santa Fe operating crane car. I picked up CSX crane car. This is a massive car. It probably has the most weight out of all the cars that I have here, and it looks like it has 2 or 3 hooks that I can tell by the packaging. Let's open this up. Looking at this car, this is probably like the most interesting car that I have ever had on my layout. This car is it's very heavy. It feels like it's all metal. It's got the 3 hooks, and this just tops the cake out of the whole set with MTH freight cars. The car does come with a set of pegs, one to go on this side and one on the other, and the top opens up to reveal a set of gears along with the strings inside to operate the crane. So this peg here controls the middle hook, and then this peg here controls the whole boom of the arm, which raises it and lowers it. Just like anything, we have to consider clearances for the crane car to make sure that it's not going to hit my control platform. So my first MTH rolling stock looks really great. I'm very happy with the details of the cars. They got some weight behind them. They glide nicely. The details are awesome, especially the air hoses around the couplers. I was a little worried at first if they would get caught in the switch tracks or some other obstacle on the track, but you know, MTH did their homework. I'm pretty sure that they figured this out. So to get this train moving, we're going to pull it with this Lionel 6-18011 Chessie System Steam Special. This box has been in storage for 30 years, and this locomotive has not seen daylight until I pulled it out and serviced it just last week to give it new grease, new oil, and give it a little test run. So this is the first time that this engine is going to pull this train, or any train ever. Now that was a great run. The locomotive performed flawlessly, the sounds were great, and they were loud too. So when I first powered this up, the sounds were turned all the way up. But underneath the tender, there is a small screw that you could turn with a screwdriver to adjust the volume to your liking. Now, I was afraid to put this locomotive on the tracks with my celebratory run back a few years ago. And that's because when I first took out my 90th anniversary set, my GP9 would not work at all right out of the box, even after I had it serviced. And I found out that the brushes lifted off the commutator plates of the motor and were frozen inside of the brush plate. So I didn't know what was going to be with this locomotive, and that's why I never touched it. And this was before I got into locomotive and train repair. So now that I'm getting more comfortable with the repairs, this took some servicing, some cleaning, and it performed great. So over here we have the Mike's Train House B&O Chessie passenger car set, the Streamliners, and we're going to run those with the Legacy locomotive. So the cars that I have here is the 70-foot Streamlined Pro passenger car, the full-length Vista Dome passenger car, the Streamlined baggage and coach passenger set, 2-pack, the 2-pack here of the sleeper and diner car set, and finally the 4-car Streamlined passenger set. I mean, other than design, I'm just gonna pick out one car from each of the box, just talk about the detail about it and to see what's inside that makes it unique from the other car. So let's open them up. Let's start off with these two lonely boxes, the Pro passenger car and the Vista Dome car. Wow, that is a big car. I'd say that, again, this is a big car. It feels rather heavy. It's got 6-wheel trucks. And look, the springs, they work. Wow, that is awesome. Here's the, I guess the between car bumpers, and ooh, they move. I'm gonna leave the foam in here for now. Let's see, you got 2 pickup wheels, one here and one over here. Yeah, pretty tense springs. And the couplers, let's see. Normally they, from what I've seen, they attach to the truck, but you keep the truck stationary, the couplers move independently too. Nice. And we could see in here, we got some figurines in the windows. We got the rooms down below where there's more figurines, if you could see those. I'm happy with this so far. This is the Streamlined Pro passenger car, and here it says United States Mail Railway Post Office. And the doors open up. Has the emblem, Steam, the Chessie Steam Special, and passenger car. Looks like your regular run-of-the-mill baggage car, almost like the Pro line passenger car, just a baggage car. And here's one of the passenger cars, B&O's sesquicentennial 150th birthday of America Railroading. And again, it has the Chessie Steam Special stamp on here. You can see the passengers inside. So I'm guessing that this is the dining car. We can see the figurines in here. The sleeper car, I'm guessing. Although I do see people sitting up in here. And the 4-pack includes the 1 baggage car, a passenger car, another passenger car, and the observation car. And what I like about the observation car, it has an actual coupler in the back of the car. Starting with the observation car, and as we go around the entire table, we can see that this is one long passenger train. And the Lionel Legacy Chessie System Steam Special will be the power unit to pull this train. Now that was a great run. To see two T1 Chessies from two different time eras running on the track side by side, I couldn't have asked for more. The Legacy Chessie performed great, it sounds great, it also smoked great too. And the Chessie from 1991 performed flawlessly, almost like it just came right out of the factory. And my MTH rolling stock, I couldn't have asked for a better rolling stock. It looks great, performs great. I think I may be more of a MTH buyer in the future. Maybe mostly rolling stock right now, but not so much engines. But we'll see. Okay, so there were some questions that that were posted on my community board, and there were some questions that I've been asked by some people when I went to train shows, and also some questions in my comment sections in my videos. So why do I call myself the creative mind? Well, I really wanted to have a channel where I can do various projects on how-to videos, and it was mainly for the simplicity of having just one YouTube account with just a lot of different videos. But right now the trains are taking over, and it's because I love them, the family loves them, we all enjoy them, and you know, they also bring out other creative ideas within me too. So really mainly for the channel, simplicity. Do I plan on fixing ZW transformers on the side? This is a question that I am often asked on my ZW repair video. It's something I may consider when I retire. It's mainly focused on family and work right now, so I wouldn't say anytime soon, but maybe in the future I'll consider them as a side thing for myself. Would I prefer NPC, post-war, or modern Lionel trains? I do like the Lionel trains from the NPC era and from the 80s and 90s. Legacy is nice, but I prefer mainly from the NPC and the trains from 80s and 90s, if that's what's called the modern era. I'm taking a great liking to post-war too. I'm starting to like all of the designs and what those trains have to feature as well. Okay. Why are my videos so detailed in instructions? Well, I've seen some videos online that have show some repair, and sometimes you can't see it too well, so I decided to take at different angles in doing repair videos so that everybody can see what's going on without having the question of what is going on. So it's the time that I spent to show everybody without having the question on what's happening in the video. So how come I have no scenery on my table? Well, my table was mainly an experimental table just to try and figure out how I want things to work. Plus it also separates in half, so I can take this half and push it up against the wall over there. And you know, I don't want to have to anchor down trees, roads, cars, buildings and such, or try and move them out of the way most of the time just to do something to get the table out of the way. So really this is mainly just an experimental thing I'm just trying out so I can be more familiar on a layout that I really want to focus on in the future. My ideal layout, I would like to have something that would set up against the walls and just kind of encompass the whole room. 2 or 3 main lines running around with a couple trains. Dimension wise, I haven't thought about that yet until I actually see a space suitable enough to do that. A project that I would like to tackle, there was one I saw from Lionel CS 2011, and he states that you can use 16 gauge wire on your track, whether your tracks are 16 feet long or 1600 feet long. So I would like to put that to the test about using 16 gauge wire in this, just to see how far that train would go. And I know a warehouse that's 2,149 feet long. Yeah, that's a pretty long warehouse at 1.2 million square feet. Okay. An online question was, were trains the catalyst for getting into electrical for you? And what got me started into the hobby? What got me started into the hobby was my dad. He would set up his trains. He had the Spirit of 76 and the Crescent Limited set. So that was the start of it. to getting into the hobby. Plus my older brother, he had NPC trains as well. So that just pretty much set it off. Was it the catalyst for me getting into the electrical field? I'd say 50% yes, because I liked the operating accessories, the signals, how they turn red to green, how the gates would be operated by a pressure plate. So that got my curiosity going of how switches and electricity works. The other 50% was when I plugged in my light bright when I was a kid and I saw the light bulb light up. Okay. My layout trackage, transitioning from 027 to 031 profile. Really mainly my layout is mostly Menards track. I do have a mix of Lionel and K-line O-gauge track. I chose to do the 027 switches because I was hoping to find 027 gauge track online years ago before I even considered building a table. So I really wanted to have like an all 027 track of different radiuses, but I couldn't find anything. So O-gauge was the way to go. And the O-gauge track, whether Menards, K-line, or any other brand, it would just be a snug fit into the 027 switch, and it still works. So it was mainly an experimental thing that I wanted to try. I like the layout. I do have plans, maybe in the near future, that I want to redo the table so I can have different loops, maybe an upper loop too, so I can try out more trains and run more trains on the table itself. Well, everybody, I thank you for watching the video. Thank you, 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for your support to the channel. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll be making more videos soon. If you'd like to see the HO version of Mammoth of the Rails, check out Ron's channel at Classic Model Trains, or look for the video link in my description below.